The Lobster finally came around my area, and believe me, people, you have no idea how long I've been excited to see The Lobster. I mean, this movie was originally released in the UK in October of 2015. It was supposed to come to the US in March of 2016. However, due to a change of distributors, it came out in May, and then, you know, it didn't come to my area until this past weekend, like specifically near my theater. So I went there and I absolutely loved this movie. Now, The Lobster, what's it about? Well, it's about a futuristic world where, you know, it's illegal to not be in a relationship. And Colin Farrell's character, his wife, has left him after 12 years, so he has to go to this hotel and to find a relationship, to get in a relationship. And if doesn't find one within 45 days, he gets turned to the animal of his choosing. And now, this movie is pretty philosophical in a lot of areas, like, you know. So, I mean, I'm not going to come off as, like, you know, a smarmy prick by saying, oh, you're not going to get it, but, you know, because everyone has their own interpretations of a movie, but, you know, you need to be older to see it. So if you're, like, you know, if you're under the age of, like, I don't know, like, say, 15 or whatever, like, you may not necessarily understand a lot of things about this movie, because it just talks about a lot of, like, you know, more mature themes, I would say, and it's just, you know, it's not necessarily going to be, like, you know, one of those movies that's going to be like, you know, oh, you can't see this because it'd be too inappropriate. No, it would be that way because, you know, you have to, there's a lot of stuff, like, some of the stuff at first I didn't even get, like, as I was watching it, but only as later on in the movie, I kind of like, oh, yeah. And this movie's considered a black comedy, but don't expect to really laugh a lot. It's going to be more of the laughs that you're going to kind of be like, that kind of laugh. But yeah, the acting from Colin Farrell, Lea Seydoux is in this movie. She's pretty good. John C. Reilly's in this movie. And even Rachel Weisz is pretty good in this movie. I mean, the writing in this movie is absolutely spectacular. I mean, this movie, as this recording, came around my area in June of 2016. Which I classify as a summer movie. Like, you don't get these kind of movies that deep philosophical movies about relationships during the blockbuster season. You usually get movies like like Captain America, or you get movies like The Nice Guys, which aren't bad movies at all. They're great, but I mean, you know, a lot of them don't go into the philosophical details of romantic relationships and about the human condition. I mean, there's a reason why this movie got third place at the Cannes Film Festival in 2015. I would go. I mean, if you want me to do a spoiler review, just let me know down in the comments below. So I will fully go into a spoiler review and talk about all the metaphors and the philosophical details of this movie, because, you know, I'm giving this movie a 10 out of 10 because, you know, of how detailed the camera work is, the music placement. I mean, you don't get these type of movies usually around this time of year. And, you know, The Lobster, what I also really like about it, it's a great satire of today's society. It's absolutely great. I mean, it may not be hilarious. Well, then again, it wasn't going in that direction, but it just, yeah, people, it's just one of those movies that's also really weirds you out a lot, too. Like, it's really like, you know, you're going to be like, WTF a lot for this movie. So, if you like pretty abstract movies, or movies that really make you question about humanity, I would highly recommend The Lobster. But yeah, this movie's not for everyone. I'm going to say that very much. I know a couple people who I told the plot to, and they were like, nope, sounds too stupid. But, you know, I took a gamble at it, and I absolutely loved it. So yeah, people, if you've seen The Lobster, what are your thoughts on it? Just let me know in the comments below. So till again, this is White Rice sign off. Bye.